The Miami Dolphins have 6 games left in the 2023 NFL season. No wide receiver in NFL history has ever surpassed the 2,000-yard receiving mark. And now, 11 games through the season, Tyreek's current pace of 1,324 yards through 11 games puts him on pace to hit 2,046 yards this season. If he can keep up this pace, we may be watching history in the making, and it's time to start paying close attention.
And then Chris walks in. He's like, hey, so I just got a call from the Chiefs talking about Tyreek Hill. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, this is why I'm not a GM. I'm like, tell them they can have everything.
Alma is in the backfield. And they go to the end zone and caught. Hill, touchdown! Touchdown! Interesting call. And look at with the poor punt, with the best beginning field position, 35 of LA. He's got Hill. That's a touchdown!
But let's see how this third down unfolds.
Tagovailoa, hunt the block, Tua on the move, going deep, speed race. He's got Hill! He's got Hill! He beat James! What a play!
As we've all known for a while now, the NFL MVP is really just an award for the best quarterback in the league. Quarterbacks have won this award for a decade straight now. The last non-quarterback to win the award was Adrian Peterson in 2012, where he had to break the 2,000 rushing yard mark to rip this award away from the clutches of Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. Before that, it took LaDainian Tomlinson scoring an unbelievable 28 touchdowns to keep the quarterbacks from getting the MVP award. That was all the way back in 2006. Tyreek Hill should be next up on this super rare list of non-quarterback MVPs. And here is why. I remember watching Calvin Johnson's 2012 campaign as it happened as a kid, and he became my single favorite player in the league while chasing this record. And though he achieved the NFL single season receiving yards record with 1,964, he was unable to hit that lofty 2,000-yard receiving goal. Even though the sole purpose of that inept Lions franchise at the time was just to get Calvin Johnson the ball and as many yards as possible. I will add in the note that Calvin's 1,964-yard receiving season came during a 16-game season, and now we are in a 17-game season. So, Calvin's per-game average does easily have him past that 2,000-yard receiving mark if his record-setting season were allowed one more game. But, to me, there is another important difference between that Calvin Johnson offense and what the Miami Dolphins are doing with Tyreek Hill right now. And that is not force-feeding Tyreek Hill the ball. This team is completely filled up with playmakers. They certainly draw up touches and plays for Tyreek to be the first read, but usually when it's not there, Tua doesn't really force things. The impact Tyreek is having on the Dolphins team as a whole is the crux of my argument here. Tyreek is going to put up 2,000 yards receiving in a winning season without being force-fed the ball on a run-first offense. Watch how deep defenders are on Tyreek when in man. No other player in the league, Christian McCaffrey, AJ Brown, honestly, right now, even someone with a rocket arm who can throw 100 yards like Josh Allen, nobody is being given the absurd level of pre-snap respect that Tyreek Hill gets. No one else in the league right now terrifies defensive coordinators of being torched deep like Tyreek does. And that is because of a mixture of being the fastest receiver in the league and having a legitimate elite polish on every single one of his traits as a receiver. People don't necessarily think of Tyreek Hill as a dominant jump ball receiver, but that perception is incorrect. He isn't the tallest, but his agility to get into just perfect position on these super deep passes and truly elite of the elite hands allows him to make some of the most dominant jump ball catches in the whole league, pretty much week in and week out. In case, for some reason, you need a reminder that Tyreek Hill is really, really fast, here are the top measured speeds from the NFL so far this season. The only player to crack 22 miles per hour so far, Tyreek Hill. He is also responsible for logging the very fastest time in the league so far, the 3rd fastest time in the league, and the 7th fastest time in the league. Check out this rep. The Jets line up and press man across the board, and the safety on Tyreek's side is also sticking to the receiver in the slot, leaving no safety help up top. You cannot run that coverage against Tyreek. He will win the route with footwork and then separate away from you with his second-to-none speed. The Jets should count themselves lucky for even tackling him after this catch. On the same drive, you can see the Jets adjust and put the safety on Tyreek's side 14 yards deep, and this opens up a gap in the screen game for an easy pickup and some yak, while the safety pushed himself 16 yards deep post-snap, while he's just worried about getting torched on the exact same play as before. Next, I want you to look at the pre-snap impact, as Hill motions and has the safety sprinting off to follow him to that side on the deep coverage. Pulling the safety and the corner away is going to leave the middle of the field wide open, where Tua plays his best ball, and he's going to pick up a completion here. Next up, look at the effect Tyreek has on this defense with his pre-snap motion. Because of his deep speed, defenses know that if he gets up to full speed, nobody's catching him. So this pre-snap motion alone gets both safeties backpedaling immediately. Then, when he has the ball in space, you're done for. Touchdown Miami Dolphins. This play, Tyreek is able to stress the defense enough post-snap to create room for his fellow speedster Jalen Waddle. Look at the position of the outside corner. He is clearly focused on ensuring Tyreek doesn't burn him deep down the sideline, so he ends up too deep to cover the curl route. This leaves Waddle open for a way deeper curl route than you'll almost ever see in the NFL. Just about 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and it's completed. Check out how his pre-snap motion again pushes defenders outside of the box to give his teammates some free yards. Hill motions out wide from the tight end position, and this brings a corner, linebacker, and safety's attention out with him. They fake the screen to Hill and then toss an inside screen, allowing for a wide open lane because those 3 defenders are so far outside of the initial gaps, which would have been big yards if not for a missed block here. The Panthers defense here has so much respect for Hill that it basically just opens up free inside routes. When Hill gets to full speed, defenders are terrified, so they take off covering as deep as they can, as fast as they can. But then when Hill uses his elite agility to stop on a dime and take this dig inside, those defenders are left with all of their momentum going backwards when the ball arrives. I believe the film is telling us the impact and options Tyreek Hill grants the Dolphins offense are unmatched this NFL season, and I think he has made a tremendously strong case to not only receive MVP votes, but actually have a chance to fully win the award. There is a fan vote for the MVP, remember, so fellow MVP voter, I hope I've made a strong case for your consideration of Tyreek Hill for the NFL's 2023 Most Valuable Player.
In the backfield, and they go to the end zone, and caught, Hill, touchdown, touchdown! Interesting call, and look at the poor punt with the best beginning field position, 35 of LA. He's got Hill, that's a touchdown!
Let's see how this third down unfolds.
Turned by Moore, Hunt the block, Tua on the move, going deep, speed race, he's got